Welcome, welcome, welcome. Welcome to Magic Park and to this season's show of Lord Shiva's boat class. Satsang Theatre by Devadas from SHREE Academy. First, Devadas will speak on Shiva Sutras, and then we will also practice some of the 112 meditation techniques. At the end, there will also be time for questions and answers. Also, this year we'll have Freya from Sweden, who will perform a Shiva dance, showing dance as meditation. So, welcome, welcome, welcome.
Thank you.
I don't think the microphone is on.
Oh, wow. Freya appears in the distance. Oh my God, it's Durga. Freya. Okay, Act 1. I see a big ocean. I see a tremendous ocean. And I see mist and rain over the ocean. And on the ocean there is a big whale. Yes, a big whale is swimming. And behind the whale, which is white, it pulls a rope, and there is something big coming after the whale. And it's pulling a big continent over the sea. And when it reaches Himalaya, it dives down. And the whale is actually a rishi from Tibet called Manu, who's been changed harbor and went into a whale. And he's pulling this big land, mass of land, and it crushes into, and the mountain arises, Mount Everest, Kailash, the whole Himalaya stands up, and because of this big crash, and the whale, he swims away and disappears, and suddenly he's back in Tibet as Manu. And so, India has arrived at its place. Now India is at its place, and the country is feeling very good, except one thing. There is a king called Bhairata. Bhairata, he has so many followers, happy people, but they come to him and say, we are very sad, we don't have water. We don't have enough water. So Bhairata, he goes and meditates. He stands on one leg and meditates for Brahma, the Lord of the heavens. And Brahma, after 1 year, he feels pity for Bhairata. And because his devotion, his compassion, his sadhana is so strong that he talks to him. What do you want, Bhairata? And Bhairata says, please answer my prayers. Give us the goddess Ganga, the heavenly stream. Give her to the earth and let my people have water. Now, Brahma thinks, and he says, this is not possible for me, because the earth will splash and go in 1,000 pieces. Only Shiva can help you with this business. So Bhairata, he goes again and does sadhana. He sits meditating. He pronounces the holy word Aum, and his attention is unbroken, like when you pour oil from two vessels and there is a small stream coming and not a gap between. His meditation is so strong that suddenly Shiva appears in the heavens and says, what can I do for you? Oh, my people have no water, so please help me and come down. So Shiva feels compassion for him. And Shiva enters from the heaven and he steps down to the earth and he puts his foot on the highest mountain, which also symbolizes the highest consciousness. Shiva puts his foot on Kailash and he comes down to the earth. And there he sits and makes a dwelling. And now Shiva screams, Ganga! Ganga! He calls for her, the heavenly stream from the sky. And she comes down. And when she sees Shiva sitting there with his terrible dreadlocks, his hair is not combed for years, and Ganga, she comes down and she tries to order his hair, and by this she gets stuck with her fingers in Shiva's hair, and by this trick Shiva pulls Ganga to the earth, and she starts to flow down from the Kailash down into LAXMAN, JUHLA, and down the plain all the way, and Bhagirata, he goes first and plays the flute, and dolphins are jumping and tortoises are swimming in the river, and everybody is happy receiving the river. It comes down, and at Varanasi it makes a big U-turn so that the people in Varanasi always shall see the sun rise over the river Ganga. And therefore it's called Kashi, the city of light. Now Ganga is at place, and the people of India is happy. Okay, we go to act number 3 in this Satsang Theatre. Now one day Shiva and his beloved sweet Devi wife is sitting by the river, and Shiva is meditating. He has his serene smile on his face and he looks very blissful. And Devi, she is also blissful because she is so full of love for Shiva. She is become enlightened only because her heart was so full of love and devotion for Shiva. She immediately went into enlightenment just through the pure devotion, which is also possible. But still, out of this devotion and compassion for the earth, she puts some crucial questions for Shiva, so that Shiva can explain how to meditate and how his reality is. And now I want you all to help me. So can you please stand up a little bit for this supreme exercise? Okay. And if you stand on your feet before you fall asleep, yeah, that's why I let you stand up. Because it's easily fall asleep. Especially when I talk. Yeah, okay. So now you stand on your feet, right? So you feel the ground, and weigh a little bit forward over your toes, and a little bit backwards, and feel the gravity pulling you down. We take again a little bit forward, feel the gravity down, and a little bit backward. Feel the force that's pulling you up, gravity down, awareness is pulling you up. And then you stop in the middle there, and then there you are. And say after me, Oh Shiva!
Oh Shiva!
Devi is putting these questions. She says to Shiva, Oh Shiva!
Oh Shiva!
What is your reality?
What is your reality?
What is this wonder-filled universe?
What is this wonderful universe?
What constitutes seed?
What constitutes seed?
Who centers the universal wheel?
Who centers the universal wheel?
What is this life?
What is this life?
Beyond form.
Beyond form.
Pervading forms.
Pervading forms.
How may we enter it fully?
how we enter fully,
above space and time,
above space and time,
names and descriptions.
names and descriptions.
Please clarify my doubts.
Please clarify our doubts.
Okay, these were the sweet questions from Devi. Oh, please, now you can sit down again. Thank you. These are the questions. And now, Shiva has not reached his enlightenment through devotion. For Shiva, understanding is the only transformation. Understanding and knowledge is the only transformation. So, he answers. He answers not by giving any explanation what his reality is. She's asking, oh Shiva, what is your reality? She doesn't answer what Shiva's reality is. He says, he gives her 112 centering techniques so that she herself can experience the reality of Shiva. She gives her 100, and the first one is like this. You can say after me, O Radiant One, he speaks.
O Radiant One,
This experience
may
dawn between two breaths.
between two breaths.
When breath goes out
When breath goes out
and turns
and turns
and goes in
and goes in
and turns.
and turns.
At the turning points,
At the turning points,
realize. So, this is a technique where you breathe and you put attention where the breath is turning. Goes in and out. We can do that for, we are not going to, this you have to experiment with maybe 3 days, 3 months, but we can do a little bit, we can sniff on the techniques, some of them, and you will get a glimpse. So we do it 1 minute. We can try that, okay? Okay, put your attention on the breath, and breathe out. When the breath goes out and turns and breathe in at the turning points. So, thank you. We can go on for that for half an hour or a long time. You can do this when you're waiting for a bus. You can do it when you're sitting waiting for your child to arrive. You can experiment with the 112 centering techniques from Shiva. He gives 112, and the first 8 or 9 of them are all about breath. How to put attention on the breath in different ways. And this has been the foundation of Buddhist meditations, Vipassana meditations, Zen meditations. These are used, and they all come from Shiva. And if you go to Cambodia, you will see in the caves there, Shiva and Buddha as 2 big statues side by side. Why? Because Shiva is the meditation teacher of Buddha. Shiva, he was many thousand years older the tradition from Shiva than Buddha. So Buddha learned from this tradition and made it into Buddhist meditation. Now, the tradition from Shiva traveled very far. And the teaching from Shiva went all the way from the east also to Greece and to the west by the Silk Road. So, welcome. One day in Greece, in the free academy, the first free academy was in Greece with Socrates and Plato. They had satsang up at Acropolis where they were discussing the possibility of knowing anything at all. Socrates claimed that he knew that he didn't know anything. Ha! And that's a special story because one day his disciples went to the oracle in Delphi and asked, who is the wisest man in Greece? And the oracle in Delphi, she went into the cave and made some incense, and she came out and said, Socrates is the wisest man in Greece. And the disciples traveled to Socrates and said, the oracle in Delphi says that you're the wisest man in Greece. And Socrates shook his head and said, it's not possible. I know that I don't know. And they went back to the oracle in Delphi and said, Socrates says it's not possible because he knows he doesn't know. And the oracle came out again and she said, that's why he's the wisest man. Exactly therefore. Anyway, at this free academy there was a man called Pythagoras. Pythagoras was known for his mathematics, no? So Pythagoras, he heard one day that in Egypt, near the pyramids, there was supposed to be a mystery school. And in this mystery school you could learn the teaching of meditation. So Pythagoras, he took packed his things and went on a boat across the Mediterranean, and he traveled by camel, and one day he reached the mysterious school in Egypt, and he knocked on the door. And when the people in the mysterious school opened a little window in the door and looked out, and they saw Pythagoras there, and he said, oh, hey, I am the wisest, I'm the most famous mathematician from Greece. I'm Pythagoras, and I come to study your meditations at your mystery school. But immediately they closed the door, and he was not allowed in. He was not qualified to get in. So Pythagoras got very depressed. And so what do you do when you're depressed and you don't know what to do? He went to a tea house to have a cup of tea. And now he comes to this tea house, and he sits there, and in a corner, there's a funny man sitting. He looks like he has a most marvelous blanket around him. And he's sitting there in a corner. And he says to Pythagoras, Pythagoras, now you're a very lucky fellow, because I am Mullah Nasruddin, and I can tell you a story so that you can get the key to the mystery school. I don't know, do you hear me without microphone? Huh?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, I can go on like that. So, you listen carefully, Mullah Nasruddin said. Once upon a time, there was a king, and the king had a princess, and the princess was the most fairest, beautiful princess in the whole world. And all the young men from nearby came to visit and try to get her from the king. So what did he do? He locked her up in a tower. He had a big tower in his castle, and he locked her in a room high up, and he locked the door. And so no one could come to see her. And one day, there was a prince come, and the prince, he came under the tower, he looked up, and he played a little bit flute to get the attention of the princess. And the princess, she looked out through the window in her castle, and down there she saw this prince with his white horse parked by a tree. And what did she do? She immediately fell in love with the prince, of course, and the prince, he couldn't get up there, so he had a very special trick. And now he took out of his pocket a small box, and in the box there was a beetle. And he put the beetle on the wall of the tower, and he put a silk thread around the leg, small, thin silk thread. And he put some honey on the horns of the beetle. And the beetle started to climb up the wall. And the princess was looking down through the window, and she saw that coming, a little animal coming up. And it was climbing, and she took the beetle and untied carefully the silk thread and threw him out, and he could fly. The beetle could fly away. And then she pulled the silk thread, and in the silk thread there was a string tied. So she pulled up the string, and in the string there was a rope. So she pulled up the rope, and with the rope she tied it inside her room, strong in some iron that was there. And now the prince, he climbed up the rope. He threw the princess on his shoulder. He was very strong. And he went down the rope, and to the horse they went, and they set off. As the sun was coming up over the horizon, they were riding away, and after that living happily ever after. Yes, this was the story from Mullah Nasruddin in the Chai Shop. And Pythagoras was thinking, how can I benefit from this story? Now Mullah Nasruddin said, well, you see the silk thread, it's symbolizing the breath. So when you get hold of the silk thread, when you get hold of the breath, you get hold of the string, and the string symbolizes the mind. So when you get hold of the breath, you relax your mind. And when you relax your mind, your body relaxes. You have the rope. When body, mind, and breath is relaxed, you can rest in your heart love awareness. And there you are, free. And that is your true identity. You're not Pythagoras. You're that open heart, love, awareness in your heart. So he went out into the desert, Pythagoras, and he practiced this now. He practiced this for 6 weeks, it is said. He practiced. And there is another technique from Shiva, where Shiva says, in worldly activities, put attention on the beginning of breath. That is how do you get hold of the breath? Beginning of breath. There's only one, not the turning point, only the one turning. When the breath begins, when it goes out and goes in, you put attention on the beginning of breath. So continuing, in a few days be born anew. So, I don't know if there's a little bit small space here, but we can. As you sit, you can just try that. Breathe out as you're sitting, and put attention on when the breath goes in again, beginning of breath, and relax out. And again, there is a beginning, and relax out. Suddenly you start to hear things also. Now you can rest in your hearing. There's another technique from Shiva. When vividly aware through some particular sense, keep in the awareness. That's a very sweet one. When you're vividly aware through that bell over there, when you're vividly aware through some particular sense, keep in the awareness. Stay there, aware of that. Now, there's so many, 112 meditation techniques. You can experiment with them and do one here and one there and another one tomorrow. Now, anyway, Pythagoras, he went out into the desert, and after 6 weeks he came back and he knocked on the door of the temple, mysterious school. And they came open. And he said, now I understand. I have been meditating, and I know that I am not Pythagoras. I am not the famous mathematician. But I am here, willing to come into your mystery school. And now, suddenly, they opened the door and he was allowed in. And when he came in, after some time, they taught him one technique there. And the funny thing is that 1971, when I was traveling in north of India, I was studying yoga for a meditation teacher, a yogi there, called Prem Varni. And I said to Prem Varni, that was 40 years ago. I said to him, I want to learn meditation. So, come to me 4 o'clock tomorrow morning, he said. And it was freezing cold. It was January in Rishikesh. And and he had a baroshi, like where we're burning coal on, and he threw tulsi leaves on this and some incense, he was sitting there. And then he was teaching me a meditation, which I found out much later was the same that Pythagoras learned in the mystery school in Egypt. And the meditation goes like this. Shiva says to Devi, attention between the eyebrows. You can say after me, attention between the eyebrows.
Between the eyebrows.
Put mind before thought.
Put mind before thought.
Let essence of breath.
Let essence of breath
fill form.
fill form.
Till top of the head.
Top of the head.
And there shower us light.
And there showers light.
Yes, this is like a third eye meditation. So we can try that. We experiment with that for 2 minutes, because to celebrate Prem Varni in Rishikesh and Pythagoras in Greece, and Shiva as well. And so, attention between the eyebrows. Try that. And if you do that, you will see, try to get the energy together to a center point in the middle of the forehead. Like there is a star there. Put attention on the forehead. Let essence of breath. That's like the prana in the breath, the energy in the breath. You breathe in, and the essence of the breath is the prana. that essence of breath fill form. And then you fill it like a bottle from down up till top of the head. And there shower us light. Okay, I let you do it in your own space. So relax and enjoy. Come back. What does Shiva mean? We put mind before thought. He means to put the mirror before what is mirrored. Like the Buddha mind is like the mirror, and the thought is that which is moving. So put mind before thought. That essence of breath. Yes. These are techniques you will find out soon. I will give you all the techniques in a little book, and then you can experiment with them yourself. And maybe we should go on with a very practical meditation called eating meditation. So, if someone can help me, there is some bananas there. Can you give? We will all have one banana. Now we will do the banana meditation. And when you get the banana, you are not allowed to eat it at once. We will first you can smell on it. Yeah, take one and send them around. Good. For those who wants to eat bananas with their heads, we will give them a book also. You have? Tror du kan dela ut? Thank you. Dela ut. Jättebra. Take one and pass it on. These are the 112 centering techniques by Shiva. And I have made circle around the ones that I like most and that I have experimented with. And you can find your own favorite there, or now we will do the one which is about eating. And I don't remember the number. Huh? 47. 47. 47.
Yeah.
When eating or drinking, yes. Shiva says, because this is called these meditation techniques is called Tantra, and Tantra is opposite of yoga in a way. Tantra is allowing the senses, you know, like in yoga you pull like a tortoise, you pull your arms in and your head in, and you go into your Advaita cave and you renounce everything of the world, basically, and you that is also a method, a technique. But Tantra is is when you try to experiment with the smell and the taste and with the senses, and through the senses, through what you hear and see, you become one with everything. You become one with all. So by being open, you can become one with all. By being a little ball in a cave, you can also become one. But it's a little bit fragile, you know, these yogis in the cave, you know. They're very sensitive for when young ladies come passing by, you know. Then they usually crack. Okay. So here their peace, also, their peace of mind is disturbed. When eating and drinking become the taste of the food or drink and be filled. So please, now we take the banana. Do you have one? I didn't get one. My God, it's Durga. Here we have plenty. And you can, first you can smell it, and then you can practice the technique when smelling, when vividly aware to some particular sense. Then it's the smelling. You smell it and you feel the banana flower. At least 3 times you can breathe to greet the banana, and then you taste it. And when you taste it, you become one with the taste, and the taste is the mantra, the meditation, the centering point of the mandala. You go through the taste, you become one with the banana and the cosmos. This is a very useful Tantra meditation technique when eating and drinking become the taste of the food. Because every time you smell, every time you eat something, every time you drink something, do it with awareness, you know, and it becomes a gate for centering. And you do these meditations, many of the Tantra meditations, you do them for short moments, as often as you remember. You don't try to eat the banana for 3 hours, you know. You do it when you do it, and then you do something else, and you know, then you switch. So I mean, you do the meditations for short moments, repeated many times, as often as you remember. You center, and now I don't know if you lay down. Can you see the blue sky? What is a roof here? Try to lay down. Is it possible? Or you can maybe see that there is a sweet technique, you know, like Shiva says, simply by looking into the blue sky. Simply, you can say after me, simply. By looking into the blue sky.
Into the blue sky.
Beyond clouds.
Beyond clouds.
The serenity.
The serenity.
Yes. Feel the openness of the sky. The openness of the sky is the same as your openness of your awareness. Your awareness beyond clouds, beyond thoughts. Endless. has no limit. The sky has no limit. Neither has your awareness any limit. Simply by looking into the blue sky, the beyond clouds, the serenity. Isn't that great? Wow, now I thought ta bort röda. Det kan vi nog knalla. Jag ska fråga. Okay, I think we go on here. We have time to wake up. And yes, before We can collect the peels because that's... Maja, kan du samla upp skalen för den där? Kan kanske. Yeah, okay, we can try another exercise and another meditation. If you all stand up, and I don't know, now we have a little bit chaotic space here, but maybe we can do it anyway. Let's see, I move this. This way.